Shalom, good morning. Boker Tov. We're going to continue reading the Parashah. Talking about Joseph, and he is the favorite of his father. His brothers get very jealous of him. His father sends him to check on them as they are with the flock, and they see him coming, and they're plotting to kill him. Prior to this, he had two dreams, and they get very upset about the dreams. Basically, the dreams are saying that they're going to bow down to them, and he's going to be basically greater than them. And they don't like this dream. They're very upset. So when they see him coming towards them, they plot to kill him. But Reuben, we're going to see, is going to intercede and step in and save him. So we are in Beresheet, chapter 37, verse 21. 37:21. We're going to say the blessing, and then we'll read in English and hear the Hebrew. So let's see. Baruch Hu et Yahweh HaMorak, Baruch Yahweh HaMorak Leolam Vaed, Baruch Atah Yahweh Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Asher Bahar Bana Mikol Hamim, Benata Lanu et Torato, Baruch Atah Yahweh Noten HaTorah. Amen. Morning.
Good morning. Boker Tov.
Boker Tov.
Boker Tov, Ika.
I just had the blessing for the Torah reading. So we're going to jump right in, and we're going to read chapter 37, verse 21.
Very good.
Okay, it says, but Reuben, 21 and 22, but Reuben heard and rescued him from their hands and said, let us not take his life. And Reuben said to them, shed no blood, throw him into the pit which is in the wilderness, and do not lay a hand on him, in order to rescue him out of their hands and bring him back to his father. Okay, so let's go ahead and hear the Hebrew. And you're going to notice in the Hebrew, let me share my screen. You're going to notice the word dam for blood. Okay, so the word dam right here for blood. So let's see, and he says, don't take a life, don't take a nefesh, breathing life. So let's go ahead and hear that in the Hebrew. Here we go.
וישמע ראובן ויצילהו מידם, ויאמר לא נקנו נפש. ויאמר עליהם ראובן, אל תשפכו דם, השליכו אותו אל הבור הזה אשר במדבר, ויד אל תשלחו בו, למען הציל אותו מידם, להשיבו אל אביו.
Okay, so that was 21 and 22, and we can say that Reuben intercedes. He probably feels responsible, being the eldest of all the sons. So he feels responsible for his brother, and also we notice here that the Torah testifies for him. It testifies that Reuben's intention was to save Joseph, that he might rid him out of their hands. So he's pretending to go along, but really his intention is to save him. So let's go to verse 23 and 24. Okay. It says, so it came to be when Joseph had come to his brothers that they stripped Joseph of his robe, the long robe which was on him, and they took him and threw him into a pit, and the pit was empty. There was no water in it. Okay. So again, the commentator is saying that this is a miracle, that there was nothing in the pit, that there was no water in the pit. Let's go ahead and hear that in the Hebrew. Here we go.
ויהי כאשר בא יוסף אל אחיו, ויפשיטו את יוסף את כותונתו, את כתונת הפסים אשר עליו, ויקחו וישליכו אותו הבורה, והבור ריק, אין בו מים.
Okay, so en bomayim, there was no water in it. One of the comments kind of goes on a tangent, kind of looking at this in a different way, explaining that our mind is like a well that should have water. So water being the Torah. So our mind is like a well that should have water. It should have Torah. If your mind doesn't have Torah, it's going to be filled with other things like spiders and scorpions and other things that are represent the bad things in the world. So our mind either needs to be full with good things, which is the Torah, it needs to be full of water, or it's going to be filled with other things that are not good, that we do not want. Let's go ahead. We're going to continue. So now that they throw him in the pit, and now they're going to have plan B. So they're not going to kill him. But let's see, plan B, verse 25 through 27.
I have a little where he said, give him to his father. He didn't say to our father, like father. You can see a little bit of, bitterness maybe, because it was, their common father. How can he say, give him to his father?
Yeah, that's a very good point. I wonder if any of them at this point had children already. I wonder if maybe Reuben was the only one who had a child, so he could have empathy for his father. Like he knew, like, no, that's going too far.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's the situation. I don't know. That's very interesting. Let's continue with verses 25 through 27. 25 says, they sat down to a meal, and they lifted their eyes and saw a company of Ishmaelites coming from Gilad with their camels, bearing spices and balm and myrrh, going to take them down to Mitzrayim. So very interesting. The spices and myrrh and the balm, another connection to Yeshua. Right?
Yes.
And Yehudah said to his brothers, what would we gain if we kill our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother, our flesh. And his brothers listened to him. So he's saying, yeah, we could kill him, but we're not going to get anything from it. So let's sell him and we'll get money for him. And very interesting that this comes from Yehudah, from Judah, representing the Jew who rejected Yeshua, right? So very interesting that it comes from him. But not all hope is lost. He comes around. We'll see later on that he makes teshuvah in a big way. So let's see. All right, and then let's hear that in the Hebrew. Okay.
I heard the comment that in the same way that against Yeshua was an unexplainable hatred against him, in the same manner, so that Yeshua comes back to Israel, there has to be an unexplainable ahava.
Yes, ahava. Very good. Unexplainable love. That's really, really good. We're going to hear in the Hebrew verses 25 to 27, which we just read. Okay, here we go.
וישבו לאכול לחם. ויפקעו עיניהם ויראו, והנה אורחת ישמעאלים באה מגלעד. וגמליהם נושאים נכות וצרי בלות, הולכים להוריד מצרימה. ויאמר יהודה אל אחיו, מה בטח כי נהרוג את אחינו וחיצינו את דמו? לך ונמכרנו לישמעאלים, וידינו אל תהיבו, כי אחינו בשרנו. וישמעו אחיו.
Okay, so I hope you guys heard the word lechem. They sat down to eat bread. Right, the word lechem. And we have the names, obviously, Yishmaelite, Gilad. Let's see. And then ma for what? What do we gain? Ma. And then dam again for the blood, to conceal his blood. So we're going to continue on with verse 28. It says, and men, Midianite traders, passed by. So they pulled Joseph up and lifted him out of the pit and sold him to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. And they took Joseph to Mithraim. Okay, let's hear that in the Hebrew and then we'll comment on it.
ויעברו אנשים מדיינים סוחרים, וימשכו ויעלו את יוסף מן הבור, וימכרו את יוסף לישמעאלים ב20 כסף, ויביאו את יוסף מצרימה.
Okay, so it seems to be using the word for Midianites and Ishmaelites interchangeably. Sometimes it calls them Midianites and sometimes Ishmaelites. Another understanding is that they sold him multiple times. They sold him to Ishmaelites and then they sold him to Midianites. I think it's probably just using it interchangeably for some reason. They use the same word for it. Did you have any other comment or do we continue on?
No, let's go on.
Okay. 29 through 30. All right. So they sold him and now Reuben's going to come back. So he wanted to save his brother, but apparently he wasn't there. So he comes back. 29. And Reuben returned to the pit and see Joseph was not in the pit and he tore his garment. And he returned to his brother and said, the boy is gone. And where am I to go? Okay, so let's hear that one in the Hebrew. And so earlier they call him a lad. They use the Hebrew word for a lad, like a young person. And here he calls him a yeled. He calls him a boy, even smaller. He seems helpless to him, right? Small and helpless. So there's yeled. Let's hear that.
Good morning.
Good morning. So 29 and 30.
Good morning.
Good morning.
וישוב ראובן אל הבור, והנה אין יוסף בבור, ויקרע את בגדיו. וישוב אל אחיו ויאמר, הילד איננו, ואני אנה אני בא.
Okay. Good morning. Okay. So that was 29 and 30. So he says the boy is gone and he rent his clothes like in mourning. Like if he were in mourning, he rips them and then he says, where shall I go? Where am I to go? So kind of saying like, I'm going to be the one held responsible because I'm the eldest and what's going to happen to me. So they're going to devise, come up with a plan to help Reuben. And this is 31 through 32. So they took Joseph's robe, killed a male goat, and dipped the robe in blood, and sent the long robe and brought it to their father and said, we have found this. Please look. Is it the robe of your son or not? And very interesting that that same type of question, the same word is going to be asked of Judah later on. So the same thing comes back to Judah. You reap what you sow. Right.
I have a comment in regards to the robe. That the reason why it caused so much commotion and jealousy among the brothers when Joseph received the robe is because it's a robe of authority.
Mm-hmm.
A robe of many colors. It means authority, being like principal, like someone important among them. And however, he was not the oldest, so it was not taken in a good manner because of that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that is the word I was talking about. Oh, I lost it again. It's no, it's nakar, and here hakerna. So the same word comes up in the story of Judah in the next chapter. So we'll see that in a minute. And also, if you guys have been listening, I don't know if you noticed the word for the robe, katanet. So you're going to hear that right now. Let's listen to 31 and 32.
ויקחו את כתונת יוסף,
Ketone.
וישחטו שעיר עזים, ויטבלו את הכתונת בדם, וישלחו את כתונת הפסים, ויביאו אל אביהם, ויאמרו, זאת מצאנו, הקרנה, הכתונת בנך היא אם לא.
Okay. So that was, they bring the coat to their father, right? And they ask him to identify it. So 33 through 34. And he recognized it and said, "It is my son's robe. An evil beast has devoured him. Joseph is torn to pieces. And Jacob tore his garments and put sackcloth on his waist and mourned for his son many days." Okay, let's hear that one. Yes, go ahead.
We do have a little comment how when people devise an evil plan, sometimes they don't think about the consequences. Like in this case, all the pain they were going to cause to their father.
Right.
And, it's just sad. You just think when you are in an anger state, and then you don't think about the consequences of your actions that, had repercussions for many years.
Yep. Very true. Very true. Yeah. Let's go ahead and hear the Hebrew of that one. So we were on 33 and 34.
ויקרא, ויאמר, כתונת בני, חיה רעה אכלת הוא, טרף יוסף. ויקרא יעקב סמלותיו, וישם שק במותניו, ויתאבל על בנו ימים רבים.
So you heard the coat of my son, ketonet b'nei. All right. Let's continue with verse 35. Here it goes. And all his sons and all his daughters arose to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And he said, "Now let me go down to the grave to my son in mourning." So his father wept for him. Okay. So a daughter is banot. Okay. And then grave is sheol. So you'll hear those right now. Let's go ahead and play that.
ויקומו כל בניו וכל בנותיו לנחמו, וימאן להתנחם. ויאמר, כי ארד אל בני אבל שאולה, ויבך אותו אביו.
Okay. The last verse, 36. Oh, sorry. One more thing on 35. So all his daughters. So it says it in plural. So one comment, one understanding is that this is possibly referring to his daughters-in-law. So his daughters-in-law would be like his daughters. Right. Okay. Let's continue on with the last verse, 36, and then we'll comment in general on the whole chapter. 36, and the Midianites had sold him in Mithraim to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh and captain of the guard.
והמדיינים מכרו אותו אל מצרים, לפוטיפר סריס פרעה שר הטבחים.
Okay. Did you guys have any comments in general on this chapter before we move on?
Well, his name, like we said the last on Monday, right? We were saying that Joseph, the name means to increase. And in this case, we are seeing the first step towards increasing when he met the captain of the guard, or Potiphar, and that's, by the time that he receives the dreams to the time that all these things happened, many years passed. And sometimes you get a vision, you have a dream, something that you need to do for our Kadosh. And then you think, well, what happened to my dreams? What happened to these things that I thought I was going to do? But sometimes many years of test has to happen before the moment of your call to do something important for him comes.
I like that a lot. That's very good. Thank you. Beautiful. I just wanted to, kind of point out, we were mentioning the parallel between Joseph and Yeshua, right? The Messiah, he's the prototype of the Messiah. So you have like this image of the favorite son, right? We'll say the right hand of the Father, like Yeshua, right? And he is sent to his brother, right? His brothers reject him, and he is thrown into a pit. So that pit represents the grave, right? It's as if he died, right? In that time, once they sold him, there was no way of ever finding him again. They would have no idea if he survived the trip. They wouldn't know exactly where he was going. Once he was there, they wouldn't know who he had been sold to. His name probably would have been changed. His appearance probably would have been changed. So for all intents and purposes, he was dead, basically.
Yeah. Well,
which is the image of Yeshua, right? Go ahead.
Well, sometimes when you come out of your comfort zone, when you come out of your family, when you come out of your environment where you feel safe, like people who had come from other countries and come to a different country, a language, a culture that is shocking sometimes, in the difference between the culture that you just arrived and the culture that you came from. Like in the case of Joseph, coming out of the nurturing environment where he is very much care for the father and the mother, and then coming out of that nurturing zone, or a state, and then come to a place where he is treated like a slave. It's like you died and you were born again, not in a good way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was bringing that up kind of to see the parallels between Joseph and Yeshua. So everybody thinks he's dead, right? But then we see that he's not, that he is alive, and actually through Joseph, his family is saved. So again, the same thing, through Yeshua, all of humanity is saved. So we see the parallels and the prototype, even going down to Egypt, right? Yeshua went down to Egypt as well, and the myrrh that was with the caravan, the same thing that they brought to Yeshua when he was born, and he was anointed with it when he was buried. So before he rose, so all these little connections.
Yes, and actually, there is a scripture that says, "From Egypt I call my son." Mm-hmm. Very, very interesting. What happened is that those that reject Yeshua, they happen to just hear the new rabbis who tell them, no, you shouldn't believe in him, because if he really was the Mashiach, he will have brought shalom to Israel, and it's not the case. But they ignore the comments of the rabbis of old, who said that there were two types of Mashiach: the suffering servant and the conquering prince. And unfortunately, they just close the page and they say, no, he is not. And they ignore, for example, Yeshayahu, Isaiah chapter 11, where it says that a son has been born to us and given to us. And the principality is laying on his shoulders. So there are so many things that point to Yeshua. Isaiah 53, for example, and it's all about Yeshua and he as the suffering servant. His death and the way he died and everything. It's just interesting. Tehillim 2, Psalm 2, Tehillim 22, Psalm 22. There are so many, scriptures relating Yeshua's death, or, the sacrifice as a lamb of Yahweh. And gladly, there is a great group of Jews that are accepting not the trend of Christianity per se, but they are accepting, hey, Yeshua was Jewish. And here it's talking about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All these years, they prevent them from reading the Brit Hadashah, not knowing what they were going to find. And at the end, they found their Mashiach in there. He reveals to you. Unfortunately for many, Yeshua is a revelation. It's not something that just shows up. It's a revelation. When you are seeking, as he says, you will find him.
Yes, very good. Also, when his brothers come to Joseph asking for food, the first time that they meet him, they don't recognize him. The second time, Joseph reveals himself to them. So I see that like at the second time that Yeshua comes, that's when they're gonna recognize him. And also, we'll see when we'll get to that part, and we'll read it when Joseph takes one of the brothers. He wants to keep Benjamin in prison, and Judah, the one who told Joseph, Judah is the one who says, no, I'm going to stay in his place. Let him go, and I'm going to stay in his place. So showing again the teshuvah, showing that he has changed and grown, and that he has
compassion now.
Yes, exactly. Does anybody else have anybody else? Susan, do you have a comment, or do you have another comment, Mom? Anybody?
No, that's very, very beautiful. It goes with the scripture, and they will look to him that they trespass. And when they say trespass, that's the same term that we use, that we trespass the Torah. Mm-hmm. And he is the living Torah. That's why he said, I am the truth, the way, and the life, meaning I am the living Torah. He came to show us how to live Torah. It's just amazing. And those who love my name, right? It's just so beautiful. And I feel so humble that he openly came to our lives and showed us the way. And we were not even looking for him. And he said, here I am, right? Like it says in the scriptures. And he gave us the revelation of who he is. And that's why we love him so much, because he's the only name given to men through him to be saved, or to whom to be saved. And in this case, it's Yeshua. So that's why we love him, and accept him as the Mashiach. And there is nothing wrong in that, because the people of Israel, they love their Mashiach, even though they are waiting for him for the first time, and they didn't recognize the first time he came. And something interesting as well is that when Yeshua is born, people that live far away, people that are kings in other lands, they came to his birth, to acknowledge, to bring presents, the myrrh and the aloes and the myrrh, the frankincense and the gold, and all of that has a meaning. And they bring from such a far land. When they come to Jerusalem, they think they're going to have a big celebration because their Mashiach has been born. Because if they acknowledge the birth of the Mashiach from far away, they were probably thinking they're going to be thrilled, because the whole city is going to be in commotion. And they were probably very, very much disappointed to find out that people didn't even know. Just some shepherds in the hills, acknowledge that their Mashiach has been born. Just the lowly people, the shepherds, knew that the Mashiach has been born. And those that were there, as teachers, but they were sold out to the king of the time. They were not looking like those men over there. They were looking for the Mashiach. They were looking to the stars, and they saw this radiant star in the heavens, that showed up, and they realized that the Mashiach has been born. It's very, very interesting.
It is really good. Thank you. So we can say the blessing to close the Torah portion. On Wednesday, we're going to read chapter on Wednesday. On Friday, we'll read the rest of the parsha. We're running a little bit behind, but that's okay. Chapter 38. So now the story of Joseph is interesting. It's interrupted by this narrative of Judah. So we will see that on Friday, and hopefully we can finish the parsha. But we can go ahead and say the blessing to close. It says, Baruch atah Yahweh, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Yahweh, Eloheinu haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Okay.
Have a blessed day, and be a light to this world and be the salt of this earth. Blessings to everyone. Shalom.